Hey everyone, been a while. I haven't uploaded to this channel in a fair amount of time. Work has just been hectic and I hope you've been enjoying all the other things that I put up on social media, mainly pictures and the odd article. But I have got a hefty little stash here now and I'm located in my new office, so I have access to everything rather than having things in storage. And I've been coerced by some people into doing an unboxing video. I don't actually have any boxes to take apart because I get most of my items in person and I bring them home with me with carry cases. So I have one of my cases in front of me and it is a mix of things that are brand new to me or things that I have had before but have just come out of storage for a long time. And yeah, some will be going up for display, some will be going up on the online store, and some will just be getting articles because I want to keep them for a bit. But yeah, anything you see in this video, feel free to ask about. It will most likely be available, if not now, then at some point in the future. So, firstly, I'm going to be doing the small bits. So this is a piece that I've had for a little bit, but has been in storage. This is an Ottoman knife, very similar to a bıçak, and it has a lovely set of inlaid scales. This is ebony and ivory, luckily legal to sell in the UK under the de minimis exception to the current laws. There isn't enough ivory in there to be an issue. The blade is just rather chunky. It is a hefty little chopper and it just feels good in the hand. Big grip as well for an Ottoman blade. Sometimes that can be an issue with some bıçak-like knives. Also, nice little eagle head pommel, which leads me to think that while this is definitely Ottoman, this might be more Balkan Ottoman rather than being from the Turkish mainland of Asia Minor, that area. So that is the first thing. This will be going up for sale soon, and I can imagine that going out quite quickly. Secondly is a jambia. This is quite fun because it's an older example. Don't see many of these. Most examples of jambias you see in antique shops or at auction tend to be early 20th century. And this one has a nice 19th century blade and grip. Bit weathered, bit worn. I haven't given this a cleaning yet. It'll most likely get an oiling and a quick rubbing down to get some of that grime off. But that is a lovely example of a 19th century jambia. I've been told this is likely to be Ottoman as well, but this is from Asia rather than the Ottoman Empire in Europe. So that is quite a fun one. That will be a cheap and cheerful when it goes up on the website. Lastly, this one comes with a scabbard and it is quite fun. Bit of wear to the blade, but this is a Marsh Arab jambia, or Marsh Arab dagger. Both are used. The hilt on this is lovely, with knurling on the centre and really nice arrowhead carved details on the top, and a little, hopefully you can see a little nodule at the top there. These wickedly sharp blades are used by the Marsh Arabs of, I believe they are based in Iraq, what we would now call Iraq, and the Marsh Arabs have an incredible history of military just prominence. Salah ad-Din was famously a Marsh Arab, and they just keep on popping up through history as incredible fighters, and this is their weapon. This is the emblematic weapon of the Marsh Arab. Not going to be incredibly expensive, but it's going to be like a mid-range for a dagger. Here is one that, again, I've had for a little bit. It has come out of storage. It has been with me to one fair. It will be going with me to Kempton if I go. And this is a cut steel 18th century smallsword with an incredibly long rapier blade. Hopefully this is all in the shot. I believe it should be. The guard is all open work with silver and copper wire. The pommel is open work and hollow. And originally I thought this was silver when I saw it, but it is far too heavy, it is far too hefty. This is what I would call a military smallsword. Even though the lines blur. All smallswords were used by gentlemen in their casual dress, and all smallswords were used in the military pre-regulation. But this is a hefty one. This is a chap who wanted a fighting weapon. It has a hexagonal blade, quite flat around the ricasso, but it comes to a wicked diamond section near the tip, which you won't be able to see. It has some lovely engravings on it too. And yes, you should be able to see there. Hopefully that comes into focus. And yeah, overall, lovely small sword, verging on rapier. I would say this is quite early 18th century compared to some of the others I will be showing you later. Here's a piece, also out of storage, and this is one of my favourite bits. This is a Wootz weapon. Let me cut in. That is a Wootz Killage blade with gilt Koftgari. Sorry, almost about to sneeze. You will see this because I don't like editing my videos. It is a lot of work. The hilt is an English 1788 pattern, or British 1788 style pattern. It tests as silver, and this is one of my favourite pieces. This is not for sale unless you have a ridiculous offer. I will consider it. And it is a perfect amalgamation of East and West. It is an Oriental and an Occidental weapon, a Killage and a sabre. It is a meeting of the minds, and who knows, this was actually the subject of my first article, and it may be a trophy of either side, or it may be a diplomatic gift, or it may be an interesting period knocked together, but it has just some lovely high contrast Wootz, lovely gilt, and a lovely silver handle, and silver guard, which is my favourite material for guards. Then moving on to this. This I've had for about a week. I picked this up and I fell in love with it instantly. It was saved for me by the dealer who knew I would love it, and I just bought it on the spot. It is a really chunky 17th or 18th century hanger. It has an open work guard there, solid on the other side. So only decorate where people are going to see it. It has an organic grip, and it is one of the beefiest blades I have ever seen on a curved hanger. I've seen it on a blade this broad on a straight hanger for grenadiers, but this is just lovely. And for comparison, there are two relatively... well, these come from almost the same period, 1730s, maybe a bit earlier, but the blade is huge. That's going to be with me for a while. I'm going to be keeping that for a bit until I replace it. Then it will be going up for sale. Moving on to more small swords. Here is a lovely example of a plain steel one. This is a very basic model, but it is just lovely. And the rings are huge. The grip is very plain, but that's not always the worst thing in the world. The guard is also just basic steel, but it has this wonderfully tapering triform hollow ground blade coming to a wicked tip here. And that will be going up on the website soon, because I already have a Keeper small sword and this will not be replacing it. Another small sword. Again, a basic but nice example of a brass hilt with remains of gilt. This grip has silver, or what it tests as having some silver content in, and again a hollow ground triform blade with a deep fuller on this side, and another wicked point here. Grip and guard slightly smaller than the other one, but well within the norm. And just a lovely example of a small sword. This one has a bit of a French feeling, French vibe to me. A bit like an épée de soldat, but I will be corrected on that by French collectors. Now for a fun one. I have had this sword 3 times. This will be the 3rd time I am selling it. I love it when this happens, when swords come back to me. This is a most likely Scottish broadsword for a NCO or officer. This has a clamshell guard that you would most often see on a 1796 heavy cavalry trooper. No, heavy cavalry officer, my bad. For his dress sword, but the Scots appear to have this pattern on their broadswords for, I don't know, cavalry, infantry, who knows. This one is intermediate length, it could be either, and I have had quite a few of these, and the ones that are marked are all marked to Scottish makers, and some are even marked to Scottish regiments, and I've never seen one to an English or an Irish or a Welsh regiment. So fun Scottish broadsword without a basket hilt. Bit of a downside, but it does cost about 1/4 of what a basket hilt costs. That will be going up soon. Another thing out from storage. This is another piece that is mine. As most of you know, I love Mameluke style blades. This is not technically a Mameluke. This is a Shamshir. This is an Indo-Persian piece. Yes, I would say that's completely Indo-Persian. Possibly influenced by the French with these little quillon tips here. But this piece is Indian with a Wootz blade. One side is cleaner than the other. I haven't had a chance to polish and etch the Wootz yet. And also I'm being quite careful of the armory mark here. But this is another piece in my collection that's come out of storage. I'll most likely do a little photo shoot on that soon. Back to the Mamelukes. Here is my favourite one. This has come out of storage. This is going up on my wall. I haven't had this for a fair bit. This is most likely 15th Hussars. It has an incredible gilt brass hilt and set of fittings, and a very pleasant scabbard here, and the ivory is carved in the style of the 15th Hussars. They had this sort of palm frond and knurled section here. This one is also very broad, but it's nice. Most likely a combat blade, because it has a unfulled flat blade, which you'd usually find on older curved swords, but also occasionally on these Mamelukes too. And most likely a combat sword for someone who could really afford a nice hilt. So that one will be going up on the wall and will not be for sale. But if anyone is passing my office, feel free to come by and have a fondle of it. Lastly, we have this. This is a sword of the Coldstream Guards. The Coldstream Guards are the British special forces of the pre-modern army era. This sword dates to approximately World War I. We know that because of the retailer's mark, which is Gaunt and Edward Thurkel. And also, the cipher is George V, and this is a battle on a sword. Hopefully it will focus. The Coldstream Guards, of course, being a very distinctive British regiment, they need both sides of the blade to show off all of their battle honours. They have participated in conflicts going back almost half a century. And it's an incredible sword, incredible history. They have their unique cipher with the Coldstream Guards motto and symbol there. It is George V. Its battle honours end in 1902 with the Boer War, so we know it is made between 1902 and, well, no, it would have been made by the start of George V's reign and the end of World War I, so up until 1918. So very specific dating and a very rare sword. Funnily enough, this one has been given a very funky red leather grip, which has some age to it. I am guessing this is a post-war edition, as the silver wire on it has a fair amount of tarnish that would have needed a good few decades to build up. Anyway, that is the last of the swords that are new to me this week. There will be another video. I'm guessing I will be bullied into making more of these. And yeah, making more videos for the channel, finally getting up to doing it now. All of my swords are in one location, a lot of them being right behind me, and I can actually take the time to do it. If there are any swords on the wall behind me you would like to have a video on, most of them are quite strange and unique. I have lots of slot hilts, this interesting Afghan one up here, hopefully you can see that. Oh, there we go. There are lots of Georgian ones, more Georgian pieces, and a few Victorian ones here. There we go. And a fair few of these are going up for sale in the next few weeks, so feel free to ask me for a video, and yeah, hopefully I'll be doing more of these. Give me a shout, tell me what you want to see. Alright, you have a good time, sword fans. Take it easy.